Honestly, just knowing that they're there just makes half the battle. And I got my hand raised, and I saw my mom sitting down recording the hand raised, and then I could do nothing except just drop down and give her a huge hug. And I was just so happy for me and my family for all the efforts that we put into this game. It just kind of felt like it realized. Then my dad comes up and hugs me, and it was just a moment of rejoicing throughout the building with my family.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparzer, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a pretty good day. This young man, I didn't think he would improve the day, but he did, miraculously. We'll get to him in a second, but before we get to JJ, a few quick reminders. First and foremost, if you like the show, and I hope that you do, I would love it if you check us out at patreon.com/grappling hour. But Raph, what do I get if I go there? Well, for just $5 a month, you can see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra bonus dollars, see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies where we watch matches with the athletes from the UFC, PFL, Bellator, every major grappling organization, and we break down what was going on through their brains. Or you could see a segment that we're going to film a little bit later with our guest here called Roast Draft, where people roast my competition footage. Now, I get that this is your favorite segment. It is my least favorite segment. That is why you have to pay a few extra dollars for it. It's all right. It's good. The one I picked for JJ, I will preview this, does not go well for me. And there's a good story behind it. So I'm happy to tell that one, but you got to go to patreon.com/grappling hour to see it. So take that. You can also see extra content like the Grappling Hour Challenge, where we give our friends a submission on a card. They pick them out at random. They have 2 minutes to get that submission on me. I get to roast them. So it's a nice reversal of fortune there. And you can ask friends like Chris Wojcik, Cody Steele, William Tackett, how that segment has gone, because it has been very, very fun. So you can see that at patreon.com/grappling hour. For a few extra dollars, of course, you can see those segments. Additionally, you get some Grappling Hour merch. If you go to rafasparza.com/merch, you can go there, get yourself a tank top, a hoodie, a t-shirt. And just this season, we have decided if you are wearing a Grappling Hour tank top, we don't care if you do steroids. That's it. We can't be bothered at this point. Do them or don't. Smoke them if you got them. But if you wear a tank top that is not Grappling Hour themed, we will call USADA on you. We have no issues. We'll do an anonymous tab, and we know exactly where you train. So do that. rafasparza.com/merch. Additionally, you can check us out on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Maybe it's Patreon. Like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're watching this. And if you don't have something to comment on by the end of this video, we will give you a prompt. And last but not least, you can join us on our Discord if you want to continue the conversations that we have here on the show. All right, let's talk about our guest. You may remember him as being a PGF alum who went for the most amount of money last season. And now he has fought his way back at the most recent and last qualifier for the PGF Season 9. And yes, we are excited to have him back. And I have some questions here because this young man asked me a very pivotal question. So I'll start with a very easy one to him first. JJ Bowers, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling super healthy and just happy about life recently. So everything's going good.
You should. You looked very good over the weekend. It was tense. It was chaotic. And we're going to get to all of that in a second. But the first thing I want to ask you about is we exchanged some notes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, man, you should do an interview. And what was your first response to me when I said, are we going to do an interview?
I think I said something about you not being mean to me.
have I not been nice to you, JJ
Most of the
Bowers?
time. Most of the time, I do catch a couple strays every once in a while.
When have you caught strays? And I'd like to know what
Not.
strays you've caught.
Mm, I just know that you're a very intelligently um, directed with your roast, so I know I can be on the backlash of something every once in a while.
I'm
I
just
can't
wondering,
think of anything off the
what if
top
I
of my mind.
roasted you about JJ Bowers? What would
My
I?
Pokemon, you have called me a nerd.
Of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
you're a nerd. Look at what
See,
you're wearing right now. You
well,
have the audacity to look at me and tell me that I'm not in the right. To look at these cat ears, or I'm sorry,
they're Gengar
Pokemon
ears, man.
ears,
Look,
and not call you a nerd.
my guy. Look, it's not ear. I mean, it's not cat. It's Pokemon. So, yeah.
Has anybody else called you a nerd for liking Pokemon?
Yeah, my girlfriend.
There we go. Okay. Well, I'm in good company then, because if that's the person that puts up with you the most, then the person that puts up with you the least should at least be
Yeah.
able to say that. Why would you have any fear that I, a person who has been nothing but nice to you and your family, would be mean to you, sir?
It was just a joke. I know that you're the nicest person ever, so I'm
Sure.
really excited to be on the show.
I was just a little astounded that that was the note that you sent in, because at the same time you're like, you're going to be nice to me. I was like, oh, I saw you buttering up Mr. GM himself real nicely with Travis.
Oh,
The babyface version of you showed up for that post-match interview. And I was
yeah,
like,
man.
oh, that's a man who wants to get signed real quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's been going through a lot lately, and I just want to express that I was happy and proud of him. You know, people go through a lot day to day, and I just want to be able to show them that they're recognized.
That's very nice of you, young man. And I mean, for Travis, what is good for him is he is somebody who had to go through a bit of an uphill battle with his recovery. And he and I have the same S&C guy. And the notes I get back from Asim on him are just unit, incredibly committed. And Travis is no slouch. He's a very solid committed athlete as well. But he's very funny in the fact that now he's turned into this great GM. And it was very fun for me while I was eating post competition that I saw him working on the commentary. So I'm literally with In-N-Out Burger in hand watching you, and then just kind of being like, what's going on? And then I see him doing commentary, and I was like, oh, he's kind of doing like something I would do. Well, that's cool. He was very sweet, and I liked seeing that. So I was happy to see him get a shot at commentary. But,
Gave off a lot of rap vibes for sure.
Well, one can hope. Let's start with the most obvious thing, which is, what did it feel like to win a qualifier that punches your ticket back to the PGF? And more importantly, why come back?
Dude, honestly, it felt like such a redeeming moment for me because, as you previously stated, I went for probably the second highest amount of money in the draft last time, and we'll say that the season didn't go too well. That's pretty good grounds for that, and it just felt like all the hard work I've been putting in to come back onto the show and get my spot back kind of just got recognized as soon as I was able to show off my talents again.
For you, okay, this is an interesting dilemma because the PGF raises a level so that it could easily be mistaken that you're not good at jiu-jitsu. So like what ends up happening is, you don't submit people or you don't do as well as you do at other tournaments because the competition raises. But you're also not getting massacred out there. So what ends up happening is people start evaluating, were you worth the amount that you went for?
Yeah.
Internally, how much did you go over that versus what may have been put in the chats or from other athletes?
Honestly, I never really put too much thought into it. I was grateful for the amount of money I received, and I was grateful for the opportunity to be there. And other than that, there's nothing else for me to focus on other than getting better and coming back and trying to do my exact same thing, but on a level 10 times higher.
Good for you. But the reason why I ask this is I know you're pretty mentally strong. So I know that you don't take too much stock in this. But what I have picked up in some interviews
Mhm.
and some talking with some of the other athletes is you have become now a person that people talk about when it comes to draft strategy. And
Yeah.
yet you're going to be right back in it. So while I like the fact that it gets people talking, I'm also very interested to see if people take a page out of your book and how difficult that might be considering you're right back in that draft this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be really competitive this year with the draft, and I'm just excited to see how it all plays out because we got some really good people going in this draft. So I'm excited to see how everything plays out. And I think with my newest performance, I think I'm gonna be desired once again. So it'll be fun to watch.
Have you already started thinking about how you're going to get people rabble rousing again? Because the one thing, no matter fail, succeed, whatever anybody wants to do with the stats, I want to know, have you already thought about you rabble rousing people? Because I have credited you as getting people riled up. Like you were essentially the breakdown in the Kanye West and Jay-Z song where they are in Paris, where he just says, no
What's
one
the name of
knows what
that
it
song?
means, but it gets the people going. Like that was you, sir. So
Yeah.
have you thought about your approach to this season's draft strategy?
Honestly, I'm just gonna go out there and basically freestyle on the point of I will fight and die for any team that I'm put on, and I know how good I've been getting and the connections that I have made with the people out in Vegas. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to make practices better, whether it's my spirit or the spirit I can bring in with other amazing athletes that I have gotten in touch with. So
It is very funny because you seem to have a fun ability to go through two different walks of life. Behind the
mhm.
scenes, you're incredibly kind, you're very fun to talk to, and then there's this performance side of you, this hothead side of you that when I see you out there competing, it's so wild to me that even your mom's like, "Yeah, make fun of him." And I go, "Okay, I don't like this isn't a bring your child for me to roast them situation." But the fact that the mom is so comfortable being like, "Yeah, do it. Do it." To me was like, "Oh no, now I don't know if I want to do this. This is dangerous."
Yeah, she just knows that I'm able to handle it, and she just knows that this is all getting me better in every single way. So whether the criticism or making fun of me or getting inspired by what I do, it's all going to be good. It's publicity for me. It's good or bad. Publicity is publicity. So
Before we even get into last season's kind of beneficial stuff, because I think you
mhm.
took away a lot from that experience, I would like to ask this. Are you prepared for your mom to be back into this? Because one of the things we
Oh
were
my god.
trying to help her with was, hey, don't talk to the chat. Like,
Hmm.
do what you want. But when I saw people starting to go after your moms, I was like, guys, no.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's one
we
thing for us to make fun of you. You're a character on the show.
yeah.
But I'm pretty anti going against any parents or friends and family in the chat.
Yeah, honestly, I think me and my mom kind of got that shit down where it's she she recognizes that she should not be engaging too much into the content of other people trying to get at her and just let me handle it. And it's kind of just like just enjoy the show, mom, and let me take all the heat because she knows I can handle it, but she's got a hot head on her too, so she did
I'll
not
be
handle that
honest,
one that well.
the funniest part to me was when she was like, he's a hothead. I was like, for sure, for sure. But like, it's not really directed at me. So it's kind of hard to say you're an a-hole or anything like that, where I go, I mean, I get it. It's mostly trying to evoke a response out of you emotionally
Yeah,
as a viewer, which is a good thing. But I'm a big proponent of how do you treat people behind the scenes? Like, what are you like? Who are you? What is your character? And that to me was always, hey, man, this kid's really, really nice. It's just, he's getting you worked up and it's kind of funny to me. And I feel like our response was always, I mean, we're just going to make fun of it, but it's
yeah.
fun. And when I saw her say that, she's like, yeah, he's got a hot head. And I was thinking, it was like, I mean, I don't want to say she has a hot head too, but she's getting into the comments with some of these people. So I'm like, it might be genetic here. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know where this is fully at.
that was definitely where I inherited it from. So she's the Puerto Rican mom that is very sassy and just ready to go at it with anybody. So that's exactly who I get that shit from.
Not to be outdone, though, your dad, right there, lockstep with you as you were making claims at the end of the season, whether certain things were points or not points. Because at one point, when your dad was telling us, we reported something and he goes, hey, Raph, did you hear that decision got reversed? And I was like, I didn't hear anything, sir. And yet
Yeah,
I looked at him and I go, it's different if you just tell somebody that's not true, if you don't know it's not true. So I was like, hey, man, I don't know, but thank you for informing me. But at the same point, I'm not the judge of this. So until I hear it from on high, it's kind of me going, it's speculation, sir. But when he was like, yeah, it got reversed. I don't know if you heard that. I was like, man, what a good dad, though. Like, the fact that your dad's got your back like that is pretty awesome.
Both my parents definitely have my back and like throughout anything, and it's kind of just so amazing. And I feel super blessed to have them. It's like I just know that I have two warriors by my side in any room that I walk into, whether they're there physically or spiritually. I could definitely feel them with me, and they kind of light a huge fire in me to just go and perform.
Love that.
So,
all right, sir, let's get into it. Let's go match by match, because on this, I was in and out. I was coaching and competing over the weekend, so I caught what I could catch. I was a little sad that our buddy Bryce didn't go a little further. He sent me a note. Well, he sent me a note being like, hey, fam, I was hoping to see you, but I guess I'm not. And I was like, we don't know that for sure. People might die at this tournament and you might be within the pool. Who knows? But when he told me that, I was like, I thought he did bad. And then I saw he had a decent tournament. It's just he didn't get in. So I'm like, hey, good props to him. So talk us through match by match, because you went undefeated throughout the run, did you not? Or I'm sorry, you went undefeated until we got to the finals, the first final, and then you were able to win the best 2 out of 3 between those. But for the actual prelims getting through, how did those matches go? Let's start with you first, sir.
All right. So my first match was actually the bye round, and that was pretty funny because everyone around me already had a match, and it was about like an hour and 10 minutes into the promotion, and I still was just in the back, just pacing, warming up, and getting ready. So it was kind of like a light and dark to that, because I was feeling ready to go, and then it felt like I was like getting ready and warming up, and then I kind of hit like a cold, so I had to warm up again, and then I finally had my first match against Matias Jimenez. So that was a fun match.
In that match, how did it go, sir?
That match was a really good test of who wanted it more. I feel like me and him, we scrapped for the first 2 minutes, and then it ended up going to like a leg lock shootout for about a minute and a half, and then I ended up getting a pretty decent bite on a heel hook, and then he took me down after getting a stall call, and I hit him with a sweep that was really strength based. So I got to show off some of my strength as well as leg lock defense and offense. And then by the end of it, it was all about who had more cardio left in the tank and who pushed the pace the whole time. And the judges found that to be me.
God bless you for saying strength based, because I'm so tired of when my students point something out to me and they're like, coach, look, he just used all his strength. And I go, yeah, that works sometimes.
It works a lot of the time.
Can't get around that. That does play a factor sometimes. And yes, you are working on your fitness. So there is that. Great start to the day, especially when you have that big of a weight to getting in there. And I know the nerves can sometimes be like, hey, man, I just want to get this over with. Can we just start this thing? Especially an hour 10 into the proceedings, you already want to bang, bro.
Yeah, and it felt kind of cool that they recognized me, so and then they gave me the bye, because I feel like might have been because I'm the only veteran that was on the card that time. So The buy round was kind of cool in retrospect.
I mean, no disrespect to anybody on the format, but if you've been to the dance, you should at least be in the conversation for a buy. So I had
Yeah.
nothing against that. I thought that was pretty good on them. And let's be honest, man, like once you've been in the PGF, it is like a brotherhood. So you
Mhm.
are in kind of like a fraternity. In the ladies' season, there was a sorority aspect to it, but it's like you're part of this overarching family of people that it's like, hey, man, we can't be partial to anybody, but if you come back, we're not going to be disappointed. So
Yeah.
good luck, and we'll see how it goes. Let's go into match number 2, sir.
Match number 2 was against, I believe, Timothy Bova, and that match was high wrestling pace. It was basically a wrestler versus a wrestle jitsu fighter, and he was coming in off of, I think, 2 victories, and it was the start. The start of it was a feeling out process for me. I knew that he was going to be super wrestle heavy, so I tried to give a high pace wrestling match at first, and then I ended up getting lat dropped right onto my ass. So that was a little scary. And then I decided to not accept that any position. So as right off the lat drop, it landed in this kind of like mount position, but instantly I used my hips to arch out and then come back out on top. And then after that point, we went back to the center, and based off of the throw that he hit me with, I I I noticed what he was doing, and the next time he went for that throw, I sat my hips back, and then I took him for a ride and threw him into the mat. So it was pretty fun. And then after that, it was a bunch of scramble exchanges. Landed in a inverse triangle at one point. The judges reset it, and it was not a reverse triangle anymore. But high stakes situation. I understand. And then at the end of the match, I was the one that was pushing the pace more and more. And no disrespect to Timothy, but he was slowing down, and it was ultimately my decision again.
For you, let me ask this question because you do pride yourself on your wrestling. You like having a high paced energy. Do you
Mhm.
like it when somebody's pulling that out of you? Like, obviously, you don't like the fact that he got the better of the very first exchange, but the way that you were describing the second get back only
Yeah.
seemed to bring out like this big smile on your face. Like, damn, dude, you kind of feel alive in those moments? Or what do you feel when that kind of stuff happens?
When I'm going against another wrestler, it's kind of extremely fun. Like it feels like I'm playing imposter, if that makes sense. Like I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter trying to wrestle, and then if I'm going against a fully jiu-jitsu based fighter, it feels like I'm the wrestler. So it feels like I always find that middle ground that I can always get the better of that exchange, if that makes sense. So it was fun to test my wrestling against that.
I feel that we have a thing with some of the wrestlers, some of the guys who come in, is that if I can ever hit a cradle on them, they're like beyond
Mhm.
angry at me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, listen, dude, it's a jujitsu variation of it. But like the way that they get so mad at me for
Yeah,
just doing a little bit better than them and is just so unreasonably fun to do to them.
yeah.
And
Bully.
again, well, hold on, I'm not that
I'm
big of
just,
a bully. I'm more of a practical joker than anything
yeah.
because I don't take any of this seriously, but to the point where when I do hit a cradle, I'm counting a pin like it's pro wrestling. And what ends up happening is they'll like lose it the first time. They're like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "I heard you hit the mat 3 times." I was like, "Oh, I just counted a pin, no big deal." And I'm like moving on to take their back, and they're like, "What the fuck?" So the next
What
time
are
I
you
do it,
talking about?
they try kicking out. It just makes the role so much more entertaining to me. But the way that they'll do this is when I get a cradle and they go, "That doesn't count. It's not real wrestling." As I go, "You keep saying that."
So
I
why are you still here?
I feel that it wouldn't count and you wouldn't say anything about it. But the fact that you keep talking about it means it kind of does count. So
Counts in their minds. Let's get into them.
I'm going to keep doing this because now I just can't stop entertaining. And the worst part is they try to hit me with a cradle back. And I'm like, under no circumstances is that
Ain't
going
no
to
way.
happen. Sorry, fam. It's just,
Kick
I'm
out
not
from
that
hell.
great, but I'm not going to get caught with this. So it be how it is sometimes. All right, let's talk about your third match, sir.
My third match was against Noah McCulley. He was running through the competition all day, and he, on a previous podcast, was talking about how I was the match that he wanted that day because he thought that we and him could put together a exciting fireworks-filled match, and that's exactly what we did. It started out with him getting a good exchange off of a Troy bar, and I was stuck in an arm bar for about a minute, and he was kind of freezing in the arm bar because I was just holding the rear naked grip of while I was in the armbar, and he couldn't break my arms free, so he had to switch off of that after I stacked him. And then it went to some leg lock exchanges, and this man was highlight reeling people with leg locks all day. And when it came to me, he couldn't finish it, so I got out, and we reset in the middle after one exchange went out of bounds, and then I got into side control, pressured him, and then I hit the back take, and I choked him out. So that felt pretty good. He also beat one of my previous teammates before that, and he beat Brett Moyer previously too. So he was looking like a good favorite to win the whole tournament, other than me, of course. But
I knew
you
he
know,
had heat on him. I knew,
mhm.
people were talking about him. I want to say, was it? Oh God, I'm starting to confuse folks here. So my apologies. I
You're
want to say
okay.
maybe it was like Travis or Austin. One of them talked about it, where they were
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, he's somebody to look out for. I think he's going to take one of the next spots." So yeah, I take those things seriously. I didn't quite know for sure if you were going to be in this or not. Full
Mhm.
disclosure,
It was a back and forth thing. I was like,
was
I
it?
I told BMAC I wanted to get back on the show and what the steps I should take, and he was like, hey man, if you wanna join in on a qualifier, I think that'd be one of the best things for you. So I will take advice and I will make the best of it. So that's exactly what I did. I wanted to join in on one.
Good on you, because the joke I was doing to Bryce
Mhm.
was I keep eyes on the entries. And so when I saw that, he's like, dude, I'm doing PGF on this day. I was like, does not look like you paid for it, sir. So until you
Yeah.
pay for it,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're in there. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, bro, I have eyes on it because I need to know who's potentially in it so that I A, do my research, B, I follow their journey, and C, I can't act surprised like, hey, who the hell are you? When
Yeah.
you show up and be like, all right, well, dumb
Good luck to
fuck
you.
McFace over here is a new PGF guy. It's like, hey, give them a little bit of respect of finding out who they are. So that way, if they ever ask me to do something or have to interview them the day after, you know a little bit about them. Or another little thing, I like to know what they're good at. Like I like to see as they go into this tournament. It's a fun game of does X beat Y? If we know
Mhm.
what you're capable of and you're a very good choke artist, like you get people with really, really tight submissions that I'm thinking like, okay, how does that work? And in this scenario, yeah, your rear naked choke came through again. So it is a very fun thing to watch and participate on. And I hope
Yeah.
that's what it is. So when Bryce was like, yeah, so then he sent me his confirmation once he paid for it. He's like, hey man, look here, I paid for it. I'm like, why? Okay, you proved it.
Thanks, dude.
Congrats.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, he did pretty good. In that situation with Noah, it was kind of like I could tell that he was really offensively great, but I felt like the cardio would not have been there because he was getting quick submissions all day. So I knew I just needed to withstand like a first front heavy storm, and then I can make a lot of people crack under the pressure, especially because it was like the third and fourth match for us. So it was getting pretty late. So I knew I could outpace him at a certain point.
I mean, I'll say this. If anybody ever wants to come after you, I hope their cardio is pretty up there because for as much as you can run your mouth and you can get under people's skin, you do have some good cardio and skills to back it up. So it is difficult. I think sometimes when you do find those people like Noah's on a run or you see somebody there, you're just like, all right, man, if you want this, I want this too.
Yeah, it's it's cool that I can get under people's skin and make them want to fight me. But I hope everyone knows that I don't really hate anybody, and I'm not really trying to target anybody whenever I do kind of burst out or have a fiery personality on the show. It's just part of
Just
entertainment. I
so sorry. I want to take this so seriously, but then I just look at the freaking Pokemon ears and I'm like, how can they get mad at this nerd? Like, look at
you
him.
know, like it's I do have a fiery personality when you were trying to fight me and when we're in a ring together. But as soon as we're off there, there's no hate, there's no nothing like that. So it's pretty funny when people don't like me or they come at me or tag me and stuff where
I
they're
think
kind of
I think
coming at
they've
me.
just become immersed with the show, and I think
Yeah, it's
they get
fun.
entertained by that. And I mean, I'm just entertained by the fact that you're sitting there being like, well, I'm glad I can get under their skin. And man, who can say that I'm just this guy? And I'm like, dude, just look at this. Look at what is on the other side of this screen. And this
Yeah, I'm
kid,
glad I can entertain people and make them intrigued into the show because that's all I really wanted to do in the first place.
absolutely.
If you don't like me, we can roll about it. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
I also like to tell people this though. Why would you be that angry at somebody that you just have that extreme of a feeling? There was one time, by the way, I should mention this. Before I was even training jiu-jitsu, when I was working in speech and I had one of my students, and he was a tough kid from Nebraska, got into some fights all around, like a
Yeah.
good, tough kid. And we would bond by watching like UFC together. And I remembered one of the seasons of The Ultimate Fighter, there was a fighter who didn't make weight. And he's like, dude, if I ever see this guy in person, I want to fuck him up. Like, you don't do that or whatever. And I go,
It's
what are you
such
talking about?
parasocial relationships.
Yeah. And I was just like,
It's
hey, man,
crazy.
it's a show. And he's just like, dude, it's just, that guy, I fucking hate him. Guess what? Now I know that guy. And
Yeah.
it is wild how small the community it is that I could literally call that friend right now and be like, hey, dude, you want to stop by his gym?
Yeah. It's
We
funny.
can arrange something real quick. But
You want to fight him? You want to beat his ass still?
but I like to tell people, I'm like, it is what happens in football when they say, shouldn't have dropped that. I played in
Mhm.
high school, shouldn't have dropped that. We get to a similar place. So when you get, say, a Deion Sanders or somebody that knows how to get the audience going, people are like, oh man, yeah, I want to get that Deion Sanders. And I'm like, Coach Deion now is a sweetheart. You don't hate that guy.
Yeah.
You love that guy. Allen Iverson, bane of my existence for a few years. But now I'm like, damn, dude, that dude's awesome. So
Pretty cool.
sports is very fun to be a part of and
Yeah.
get your emotions out. But at the end of the day, you guys are athletes, so it's just fun.
Yes. I agree. It's pretty fun to get involved in it and just want to remind people I am not the same person you see when I'm on the mat and there's like 20 cameras on me. I do like to make it a show, so let's enjoy it as a show.
That's a good reminder. I'm glad you said that. So we'll note it for the record here, sir. Let's move ahead. This is your fourth match, correct? That we're at now.
Yes, the first finals match
Okay.
after watching Brett Moyer beat Noah McCauley in his second match because they are 1-1 against each other. So that first match against Brett Moyer, I was going into it. I popped my LCL the match before getting out of a leg lock exchange on my own regard. I messed up trying to get out and popped my LCL on my left leg. So Brett in his first sequence comes down and like slides across the mat and dives for my left leg and locks on an ankle lock. And under like 40 seconds, I start to fight it. And then I realize, wait, I have 2 lives, not just one. So tap, let's go again. So then me and Brett were lined up to go again. And it was a good exchange for Brett, but now I knew exactly what he was looking for. I know what most of these leg lock guys are looking for. So in the second match, it was a couple of inversions from him, but most of it was just me trying to plow right through his guard. And it was 6 minutes of back and forth action where I ended up landing in side control a few times. And other than that, there was really nothing in that match. It was really high pace and it was very serious, but there was not a lot of submission threats in that one. So the positional control and the excitement that I brought to the table ended up winning me the match for sure.
I'll tell you this much. I've never felt fatter while eating a double double and watching your match because there was a lot
Dude,
of work. And I'm just sitting there stuffing my mouth, being like, man, these kids, that's rough. And then I'm intrigued because I didn't know exactly how it was going to go. And it seemed like on the commentary, they thought it might go one way. On my brain, they thought it might go one way. And then in the comment section, it was completely all over the place. So
yeah,
there were a lot of different voices here. And the one thing that I did hear Travis say was he was starting to postulate maybe they're both going to get invites.
yeah.
And I feel like that's a cool scenario. But I was wondering what's going through your mind, though, when you do have this close of a shootout that's happening, that's really a deciding factor on going back to the big dance for his.
Honestly, the main thing that was going through my mind was I just put up a hell of a fight. My body is tired and I need to look as good as I can so that way these people choose me in order to move on. My heart was beating out of my chest. Like I was having pretty like my heart was amped up. Like I was just fighting for 8 minutes, including the match before that, and now it's all coming down and the adrenaline's wearing off. But I still need to make sure that I look like I'm in tip top shape in front of all these people because the it was everything counted in that moment. So it was just keep my keep my head on high and then just hope for the best and hope that my efforts got realized in that match.
You know what? I can be honest with you. I realize now why I was eating in such a sympathetic mode.
Yeah.
It now triggered in. I had a competition that day. I went 1-1 in the gi. No, I had nobody for me in the gi or no gi. And a homie of mine came up to me and he's like, hey man, we got a dude who doesn't have a match and he's older.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, yeah. And he goes, would you have a match with him? And I was like, yeah, dude, that's perfectly fine. He's like,
Yeah.
nobody signed up. And I go, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. And so it's end of the day. I coach all my students. My students were like, yo, we're going to head out. I was like, totally. It's totally fine. I'll see you guys later. And my battery died. So normally I record all my matches. And on this one, I didn't have it. And he's like, yeah, dude, I got somebody for you. We'll have a match. Thank you so much. And everybody's like, even the dudes like, dude, thank you so much for taking this match. I'm like, all right,
Like
cool.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, like word. Like, dude, when you get old, you're just happy anybody's taking a match. So I got you, bro. I go to take this match. This dude's a cold, dead ringer. This is 100% a setup for murder. And I was like, what is this dude doing? Like the minute he grabbed my grips on my gi, I was like,
I'm going to die.
He's a really good guard player. Fuck. The reason I had sympathy for you that day is I didn't know this was possible. I went into double overtime with this man, and my body was like, I've already had 2 matches. I'm not an athlete. This shit sucks. And we're just staring at each other like, I don't know if I can pass your guard. And he's looking at me like, I don't know if I can sweep you. And I'm like, oh God. Oh fuck. So the whole time I'm watching you go through this death race is me sitting there with the burger that I'm rewarding myself and going,
yeah, I feel you.
So did this kid. Yep. This sucks. So when I saw there's a moment, I don't see it often because you do have a good cardio gas tank on you. The minute you finish the match, Brent's running around and I saw you do this. Like the exhale as the ones went up is you being like, I'm so tired.
That was definitely a moment where I was like, all right, I did everything I can. Basket it.
So I have to tell you, man, of any day I was going to relate to you, that was the day where I was like, it didn't click until you started mentioning it. I was like, oh yeah. Oh shit. That's why I felt so sympathetic to you boys. That was me being like, that was 2 hours ago that it happened to me. Now I'm just eating. Now I'm looking at you guys and I go, these fools couldn't get it done. Whatever. Home. Anyway, they raise your hand. There's this beautiful moment that happens that I want to get to next. But what did you feel like hearing that you were both going to make it into the season?
Honestly, me and Brett had rolled like maybe like once or twice at open mats before that, but it felt like throughout the entire day, me and him were on opposite sides of the bracket, so we were kind of just cheering for each other. And 10th Planet Vegas is my second home, so it's good to see my friends do well, and then building that relationship with Brett throughout the day, and then finally fighting him twice, and then going to the big show with him. It just kind of felt like it felt like a brotherly moment. Like we got really close off of war, and we both got our efforts recognized in that moment. So it was just like I pushed him. We gave each other a hug. It was super sick. We were very happy for each other, and now me and him are good friends. So it's awesome.
Noted. I'm gonna double check that when I interview him this week.
Hope so. I hope he thinks that we're
We'll
good
see.
friends.
I'm just saying, bro. I don't know, but I will ask him. The next beautiful moment that does happen is you immediately find your mom, and then I think you see your dad over on the side. Can you explain what was going on in your head in that moment and why it might have been so memorable and so emotional for you and your family?
Man, honestly, just knowing that they're there just makes half the battle. And I got my hand raised, and I saw my mom sitting down recording the hand raise, and then I could do nothing except just drop down and give her a huge hug. And I was just so happy for me and my family for all the efforts that we put into this game. It just kind of felt like it realized. Then my dad comes up and hugs me, and it was just a moment of rejoicing throughout the building with my family.
I was so happy for you guys, and knowing you guys over the season, it was so cool to get to know both your mom and your dad. And
Yeah.
the fact that they would come multiple times to see you and support you, it's fun and it's really cool when it's like little league and you have to
Yeah.
go down the street. They're driving from their home, taking time off of work, and they're making their way to go support you in your dream. And that they follow your progress. They're in there. They're always cheering for you online, but they show out for you. And I think that is so fun and good to see. It shows a real family bond, and it
Yeah.
brings out a side of your character that you might not always be able to tell when you see how athletically gifted you are and the great stuff that you do on the mats. But it shows a completely different side. And it was great to see. So I really like when that clip did go up because it really did show the core essence of who we've seen the Bauer family off the mats be.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my family are the number one inspiration to me, so I'm just happy I was able to prove them right in all their efforts of making me great in that moment.
So let's get into this. What did you learn from season 8 that you are taking into season 9 that you feel you will improve upon, or that now that you know based off of being there before will be a little bit different this time around?
Leg locks are real. They are very they are very real, and they are something that I have to watch out for whenever I enter a match, and they can help me score a little bit too. So keeping them in my back pocket and the defense in the front holster will be something that I take into this next season and will be very aware of.
Having said that, one thing I want people to understand about what you've been doing on your side quests. Yes, you've been doing a lot of 10th Planet work, but we've seen you with some very good talent getting in rounds recently. Can you tell us
Yeah.
what the extracurriculars have been for you outside of just your team at JJ Pages or even your second home at 10th Planet Las Vegas?
Yeah, man. I've been getting some extracurricular work with some really big names in jiu-jitsu. They've kind of taken me under their wing. A couple good names that I could say off the top of my head are Andrew Tackett and Mikey Musumeci. I was working my leg lock defense and my offense off of a couple exchanges with him. Rolling with him is kind of just like, when it's kind of like a 5-year-old going against a grandmaster in chess. It's just super humbling, but also very, very helpful to my game. So going with those two have just kind of upped my game so much. So it's really fun.
Well, it's not just the jiu-jitsu I've seen. The fact
Mhm.
that at the beginning of the year, I saw a skit with you and Tackett,
Yeah.
it begged the question, are we seeing more comedy from you guys? Because, first of all, slightly offensive to those of us who are actually fat.
Oh yeah, that
Seeing
was
you
Thanksgiving.
two skinny ass, silly goofballs try to be fat was like, oh, look at these guys. Oh man, I'm gonna roast them
They don't know
so
what it's
hard.
like.
They don't know. They don't even know. Who came up with the idea and where did that come from?
So me and Tackett had been training for a couple weeks in a row. I would hit him up and be like, "Hey, if you want to train here, let me know." And he would tell me exactly where to train at, and we would get in a couple rounds together. We would talk about his upcoming matches, and kind of just I would just pick his brain a little bit. And we've just gotten super close, like off of just a few like hangouts, and then by like the fifth time hanging out with him, I was like, "Hey, bro, I have a real idea. If you want to like hop on it, it'd be pretty fun. It's going to be how it feels to roll the day after Thanksgiving or anything like that." And he was like, "Bet, I'm going to bring so much shit to make me fat, and then we'll roll." And then me and him choreographed it, uh, recorded it, and then I put together the video, and then I invited him to collaborate, and then everything worked out. So it was a pretty funny video. I had a lot of laughs on that.
You guys are so stupid, but yeah, it worked. I just looked at you guys and I go, oh no. Of all people, these two are combining forces.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a goober. If I had one word to describe that man, he's very much
You're
a
not
goober.
wrong. He is unfortunately so incredible at jiu-jitsu that you can't even really call him a goober because yikes. But he's such a silly guy. Just
Yeah.
aside from jiu-jitsu, like he doesn't take things very personally or serious. He's obviously very good as one of their champs at UFC BJJ, lovable, but it does bode that now whenever I see like people like him and some of these other people doing comedy and jiu-jitsu, I go, you can slow down here. You don't need
You can
this.
leave this for me.
This is on our side. Thank you. Uh, but I was entertained. So I'm glad you guys have joined forces. Not just for the comedy, but knowing the training you get out of those sessions only refine the base that you have put together. So I think that's a natural transition into getting to know your origin story. So JJ, it's
Okay.
not like you're super old, but you've been doing this for a while. So where does jiu-jitsu find its way into your life? For you, what other sports were you playing first? Obviously, there's a wrestling background, but was wrestling even the first sport you played?
No, my first sport was jiu-jitsu. I joined when I was 4 years old, but the gym that I joined in Arizona, I mean Tucson, Arizona, was kind of like, "Hey, dude, your attention span isn't fully developed yet. Maybe you should come back in a year." So I took a year off of jiu-jitsu. I did a little bit of karate uh, in the downtime, and then when I was 5 years old, I walked back into that jiu-jitsu gym, and then started that off. Obviously, I didn't walk back into the jiu-jitsu gym. My dad introduced me to jiu-jitsu. He was ecstatic about me joining it, and then since I was 5 years old, I have never stopped doing grappling. So yeah, I've been training from Tucson, Arizona, and then I moved up to Mesa when I was 9. I've been training out in Arizona. I mean, up in the valley for about, what is that? Almost 10 years now.
Mm.
And this past year, I've been going over to Vegas to broaden my horizons with the professional scene.
Let's get into kind of the beginnings here. Okay, so you start off jiu-jitsu, you take this hiatus. When you come back to jiu-jitsu, what do you think of it? Because now at this point you've had exposure to other things. Not everybody wants to come back, and especially if you've done any kind of wrestling, some people don't naturally come back and think this is what I want to do.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like that point where I didn't really I didn't mind anything too much. I was having fun meeting people and getting to fight people. So I think 5-year-old me just kind of enjoyed it, and my dad was ready to take me, and I had that support system behind me, so everything just kind of kept rolling. It was like a snowball effect, if that makes sense.
Okay. I know that there's a difference between seeing yourself going back from your perspective.
hmm
Then, do you know why your dad brought you back?
I think he was really adamant on getting me into a combat sport instead of a traditional sport like football or baseball or anything like that, because he wanted to make sure that I knew how to defend myself in the long run. And boxing and other combat sports were a little bit too violent. So jiu-jitsu was kind of that perfect middle ground to be in a sport where it's not going to ruin my brain at such a young age and still learn how to fight.
For you, are you happy that he brought you back then? Did you start telling him like, Dad, why didn't you bring me back like 2 or 3 years ago? Because people always get mad when they aren't doing jujitsu for X many years. There's a lot of people who didn't wrestle or do jujitsu that are like, damn, I wish I would have done that. For you, it seemed like you just went back fairly soon, but do you even wish you had started even sooner on a return back?
Definitely not, because I was 4 years old doing cartwheels and stuff around the mat. It was not my time yet. But a year later, I was ready to join up, and I don't remember missing jujitsu when I was 4 doing karate. Actually, yes, I do. I remember being like, Dad, I don't like karate because it feels fake. And I would like to do something where I can actually hurt people. So then my dad took that as all right, we're ready to go back to jujitsu and try again. And then that's when I finally was like, okay, I know where I want to be at when it comes to this kind of stuff. So 5-year-old me wanted to hurt people for real instead of not actually competing against these guys in karate.
I'm happy that even 5-year-old version of you was talking shit about karate. Like, not much has
Yeah,
changed here in all these years of education and intelligence. That you're still the same guy. You're like, man, fuck karate, but it's all good. I still get
yeah,
it done here.
it's it's been a wild ride when it comes to that, but karate was never part of that.
So, as you were doing wrestling, though, you really took to that, and that's something that's very much a part of your base. What did you love about wrestling when you were doing that?
I loved the community I built when I was in wrestling, like having a high school wrestling team, because that was the only time I wrestled. I only wrestled in high school for 2 years, and then I graduated when I was 16. So I only had a little bit of time on those mats, but wrestling was always like a big part of my jiu-jitsu game. Like I would never pulled guard or anything like that. So I was always in a top position doing jiu-jitsu. So it translated really easily when I did go into wrestling for 2 years in high school. And then yeah, I kind of took a mini hiatus off of jiu-jitsu, but still wrestling. So I was in that grappling aspect. That was when I was in like my blue belt, like, or starting to get my blue belt. And yeah, it was just kind of like, it felt like translation was super easy. So I'm glad that it gave me that base to continue wrestling while in jiu-jitsu. And it was fun while it lasted.
Do you miss it ever?
Fuck no, I do not miss wrestling practices. They are tough. Wrestling practices definitely suck. So do jiu-jitsu practices, but it's not the same.
Understandable. I want to go to this, which is a question we ask everybody here, which is when did you fall in love with jujitsu? So everybody answers this a little bit differently, but the intention behind it is always trying to figure out when did you figure out that you loved it so much that you wanted to pursue it as more than just a hobby? And especially in your case, something that's a career, a passion, something that you go out of your way to fight your way back into for a professional organization. So where did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu, sir?
I fell in love with it when people started recognizing me as like the fighter in school, or just knowing that I was kind of a badass all my life. So it was really fun to have that in my sleeve wherever I went. But in the most humble way, of course. I never really try to boast that I fight people, but it just knowing that people respect it and can see me for who I am with it. It's really cool. And another moment that made me fall in love with jiu-jitsu was I used to do Muay Thai for a long time, and there was a bunch of Muay Thai guys, and they told me to get in the ring with one of their fighters. And this guy was way better at striking than I was. I had minimal striking experience up to this point, but I was doing MMA because of my jiu-jitsu. So we did it in 3 different rounds, me versus this kid. And the first round was striking with our hands only. And then the second round was Muay Thai, so you can use everything. And then the third round was MMA. So I survived for 6 minutes because I think they were 3 minute rounds. I survived for 2 rounds where I was getting my ass beat. Like I was not doing well, but I was still making it so it was not a TKO yet. And then in the last round, they're like, "All right, DJ, now you can use jiu-jitsu." I beat the shit out of this kid. Oh my god, it was the most satisfying feeling I've ever had. Was like I was getting my ass beat because I wasn't allowed to do any takedowns or anything like that. But as soon as round 3 started, I got the double leg, landed straight into a guard pass, got mount, TKO the kid in like under a minute, and it was so perfect. It was like I need to make sure that this is implemented into my life forever because I never want to lose this skill because I realized how helpful it is in a fight.
JJ, I remembered at the end of last season, there was a talk of you going more the MMA route. Have we
Yeah.
kept you more on this side, or is that something that you're still planning to do in the future or a little bit further down the line? Because you have been incredibly active and staying active on just the jiu-jitsu side.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of matches in jiu-jitsu, and there's never a scarcity when it comes to matches for me. Like I've done a few EBIs, I've done uh local tournaments, I've done local shows, I've done the I'm done the PGF qualifiers again. It feels like there's a lot more opportunities for me right now than in the amateur MMA scene because I'm still looking for my first fight because people keep pulling out against me. So it's been a ride. I want to continue trying to fight in MMA, but as long as I'm doing good in pro jiu-jitsu and getting paid for it, I don't see why I should stop yet.
Okay. I mean, we'll keep you. I have no
I
intention of giving you to MMA, honestly. So
appreciate it.
when you were sitting there telling us last season, you're like, hey, Raf, get ready. MMA is coming. I'm like, we just met you. Like, where are you going? And then I
Yeah,
saw you immediately get on EBI, and I go, yeah, you should be there. That's great. And then I see you're on another EBI, and I go, okay, cool. This kid, he's got a good run with it. And then I see, even though you lose in EBI, they give you another showcase feature match. How did that
yeah,
come together? Because to me, on that particular day, if I remember it correctly, it's the same day as trials, and normally I do a fight companion on trials days.
mhm,
So I did a companion for trials, but I was like, I don't have the energy to do one for EBI. Love
yeah,
y'all. Sorry, brain is dying. But I was watching it as I was packing up things at the gym, and imagine my surprise when they go, and his opponent, J.J. Bowers. And I was like, what?
yeah.
What is he doing? So what
So,
happened there?
so my first match was not the most satisfying for me because I beat the brakes off of this guy in the normal regulation, and he held on to my back for a little bit longer in the overtime, and that was my first round exit out of the tournament. So you could have 6 minutes of glory against somebody, and then they turn around in overtime and hold you back for a little bit longer than you, and now you're out. So they came up to me after my match was done, and they were like, "Hey, we have been saving this special match at the end of the show for someone that looked really good in the first round, but wasn't able to, um, but it didn't go their way. And we want to give you that match, and we are hoping that you'll take it." So I took that match, and I ended up going out there and putting the pressure on somebody for 10 minutes straight. And then in the first couple seconds of overtime, I rear naked choked him, and it was like that. And I believe I have the fastest submission in overtime history. I could be wrong, but I believe that 8 seconds into the first round is the record. So that was pretty fun.
Well, congrats on that. I had two thoughts on it. The first was I was excited you got another shot and you got a chance to show off your stuff. The second thought was, wait, what? Oh, yeah, that happens sometimes. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think they knew they had a game person in you that would say yes and was like, yeah, I'm down. So
Yeah.
it kind of worked in both regards. Like they needed somebody else. You showed out very well. And that then you got this opportunity to like end on a very strong note, which was kind of my way of knowing maybe that's going to be kind of the closing portions of 2025. And it did make me start to wonder. I was like, I don't know what your 2026 is going to look like. So for you, PGF included, what is the kind of mindset for 2026 and what are you looking to accomplish in this year?
2026, I want to develop the most skills I can in combat sports, and MMA, I want to get into it, but whatever pays me the highest amount of money, I'm going to be in. I want to do really good in the PGF and continue to build off of Jiu-Jitsu, and then hopefully get my shot in UFC BJJ and go against some other game opponents in that, and then all the while do some MMA fights. Like we see people doing this right now, and they're kind of the paving the way for me to do it. Is like Renato Canuto. He's a really really experienced person in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu scene that is going on UFC BJJ and killing it out there and beating up people all the time in Jiu-Jitsu. And he is just starting his MMA career at 3-0 right now. So it's a really cool balance that I like to see, and I hope that I can put up a same type of balance as Hinato in those type of moments, because that looks like a really fun career that I would like to be a part of as well.
It's a good model. I mean, Canuto's good people, and obviously he's an exciting grappler to watch. And
Yeah.
now really proven to be an exciting grappler to watch inside of a cage, like making a very compelling case to keep eyes on him at all times. So you're not wrong about that. You know, I'm glad that those are your goals for the year, because the PGF experience, I think you did take a lot out of. I think you enjoyed it. I think you're coming back this year with a lot of aggressiveness, and you've made some great adjustments. You know, I think you and Cam are somebody who in the offseason have made a lot of use of your time in very, very positive and smart ways. So, yeah, I am excited to see you back there. I'm also intrigued to see what's going to happen in terms of the chaos at the draft, because I know you're telling me you're going to freestyle it. I think, and I'm preparing you for this, I think your name's going to get brought up. And I think you know that. And I think when that happens, that brings out a competitive side of you that is only more entertaining for those of us who are watching and reporting on the sidelines as well as watching from home. So it's part of the reason why when we chatted today, you're like, oh, I hope you're nice to me. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm not the one you got to worry about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people who I think are going to be way meaner than any joke I've ever lobbed your way. So I'm glad that you are taking that challenge on, but I hope that you know you have done some incredible work, and I'm very excited to see how that pays off in the next few months, sir. So congratulations on making it back. We're very excited to have you back into the program.
Thank you so much. It means the world. I'm super excited, and if anybody wants to use my name to help pedestal themselves up, go ahead, but I'll probably beat you in the regular season anyway.
Listen, cut a promo. Just know this. As I told people when I was weight cutting, proceed with caution. That's not the nicest version of me. If you are talking to me when I'm in the middle of a weight cut, I'm a lot bitchier. So it's a choice.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to deal with a weight cut this season. That'll be fun as well.
Speaking of which, I saw you, brother, the day after. How much food did you put away? Because you and I talked about this before, and you were the one who was trying to instigate me to challenge you to go eat off. And I'm like, dude, that's not what happens. I eat like an adult. You eat like a
Mhm.
child. What did
Oh,
you
okay.
eat the next day, sir? After
The
the
next
qualifier?
day, I went to that night I went and got a steak dinner and mashed potatoes and an order of mac and cheese, and I housed all of that. And then the next morning we woke up and we went to get breakfast on our way out of Vegas. We stopped by this restaurant and we ate. I ate, uh, I believe it was 7 eggs, an order of spuds or potatoes, 4 pieces of bacon, uh, 4 pieces of sourdough bread, and a chocolate chip pancake. So that it was really good.
Okay. I imagine it is good. Can I ask a follow-up question here?
What's that?
Who was paying for it?
Oh, my parents bought me that.
Okay. Okay. I had a feeling.
They were my dad was like, "Hey, I'll get breakfast," because my mom got the hotel room that we were staying in comped because she ended up getting stuck in an elevator at the Luxor. So so she got us a bunch of free dinners, a free room. Dude, the Luxor
Hold
was
on.
not
Don't
fun.
bypass that.
Yeah.
What happened with her getting stuck in an elevator, and how long was she stuck in an elevator for?
Dude, so we were trying to check into her room through the whatever the login key on your phone, because they have this you can just check in with your phone and get the room key on your phone. That didn't work. So now I'm waiting. She's like, "I'll be right back, JJ. I'm going to go to the lobby, coordinate dinner, and I'll be right back." So she gets the room key. She's coming back up the elevator, and I get a random text that just says 11. And I look at the text messages and they finally load because the service in the elevator is not that good. She's like, "I got stuck in the elevator. My phone's about to die. And I'm in here with 8 other people. And I'm in between floors 10 and 11." And I'm like, "Well, shit." So she was stuck in the elevator for about an hour and 10 minutes. And she was just stuck, basically. It was god awful. So the time that she finally got out, she got like $300 in food credit, a new room, all of this kind of stuff. It was an absolutely insane moment.
God.
I know.
Well, now I know for
Thank you,
sure why she
Luxor.
was crying so much at the end of that. Like her seeing you come over is like, I've been stuck in an elevator for so long and I
Yeah, it
love
was a
you.
stressful weekend, JJ. Oh my god.
Hey, Natalie, I'm very sorry that happened to you. That's so sad. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad she's good. I'm not asking because I think you're a deadbeat. I would just say that if I thought that. The reason I'm asking is we have different parents. Let's be very clear about this. When I would order, like I was a pretty spoiled child, when I would order maybe one extra thing, that would be it. Like sometimes I'd be like, "Hey, can I get a little extra bacon here?" And my dad would be like, "All right, son, that's fine. I'm his first boy. It's just how it's gonna be. I get it. I get it." My brother, I looked at how much you ordered, and I was like, dude, the threat I would have gotten from my parents. One, which is if you don't eat all this, disowned. But
Yeah.
two, the extra costs that they would have paid. I don't care where you're going. My parents would have been like, "Really, son? You're gonna order all this?" Like the judgment I would have gotten. So that's how I know how much your parents love you. Is when I looked at
Yeah.
that whole plate, I go, "He's with his family. That's for sure. A family's paying for that plate." Yep, I see
Dude,
every one of those things.
they took me out for breakfast. I'm gonna make the most of it because I've been I've been making my own meals for a little bit now. I've been eating some steak and rice and potatoes, all that kind of stuff. So when I get my meals given to me, I will make the most of it that I can. And that's also just something I do at every breakfast restaurant I ever go to. I will order 4 extra eggs on those 2 egg breakfasts because they jip you on eggs all the time. I need to eat at least like 6 eggs when I'm out at the restaurant because I love restaurant eggs. Eggs at the house are just not as good. So
Well,
yeah,
fair.
that is
Probably,
a
honestly, a
thing I'll
lot
try out.
less sodium in the ones you're making, though. If I'm being honest, I think
Oh,
that's
for sure.
that's the little
But
key difference.
But dude, I love restaurant eggs, man. I can't even. I don't know what it is about them, but dude, oh my god, breakfast restaurant eggs scrambled are just like heaven on a plate right now, dude. I can't even lie.
It's very
They
funny.
make me hungry.
When I was weight cutting last week, normally I don't mess with eggs, but when I was weight cutting and I looked and I was like, well, what can I have? And I go, I can have eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
My wife looked at it. She's like, did you eat all the eggs? And I was like, oh, no.
Don't even go there.
Don't. Like, it's literally the only thing I could have. You know how bad it is when you're asking ChatGPT, can I have a cracker? And it's like, you can, but
you might go overweight.
Okay, fatty, if you want to. It's a choice you're making. I'm like,
you're going to have to burn that out later.
Yeah, no shit. Well, here's the one thing I want to say. Normally, this is the part where I get it over to you and I say, do all your shout outs. This might be the first time I ever encourage the guest to get a sponsor for his parents. Because now that I know the amount of food money they have to spend on this dude whenever they take him out for when he wins, I'm just letting y'all know. I think we need to make sure that we're getting a sponsor for his parents. So yeah, I got your back, parents here.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure they do too.
Let's do this. Shout out all the friends, family members, mates who make you the grappler who you are, and who also contributed to this incredible run that you just had at the PGF qualifier, sir.
Sounds good. I just want to shout out my family, first of all, and I want to shout out everybody out at J Pages Jiu-Jitsu. I also want to shout out everybody in Vegas that's been helping me prepare. You guys make everything so not easy, but effective and efficient. And shout out 10th Planet Las Vegas. Shout out Andy. Shout out Coach Casey. Shout out Angle Jiu-Jitsu out in Vegas. Shout out Mikey Musmechi. Shout out Andrew Tackett. Just everybody that helps me get better. I just want you to know that I carry it with me everywhere that I go. And last but certainly most important, thank you, God, for every opportunity he gives me. And I'm just so excited to keep doing good things in his name.
That's what's up, kid. And are you going to be out there this season in Vegas the whole time?
Yeah, I will be out in Vegas the whole time competing.
Beautiful.
So if anybody wants to know that for my draft stock, last time I didn't get bid on a couple of times because they didn't know I was going to be out in Vegas. I will be in Vegas. Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, dude, I'm not. It's not even asking that.
Yeah,
I feel like
Raph, I'm gonna be in Vegas. Okay, Raph.
Hey, this was a one that I was just getting information on because, I'm going to stop in at some point places. So I'm just saying this time we can actually get work in, because this time when you're not avoiding me, I can probably get some work in with you.
Hey, I never duck anybody, but yeah, I've got a lot of good places to train at, and I've been training with a lot of really intelligent minds. So stop in whenever.
Take that. About to hit the least intelligent one to come after you. So stoked to be that. Hey, JJ, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations again. I'm going to do the second segment with you off air in just a second here, but big congratulations to you, young man. I'm happy to see you punch your ticket back.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on the show again.
All right, you guys. That's going to about do it for us here. But before you go, a few quick reminders. First and foremost, like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't know what you want to comment on, this is where I give you the opportunity via a prompt that I'm coming up with right now. 1, here's your prompt. What is something that you have gotten a comp for that they were trying to make amends for? In other words, we have a guest here whose mom was put in an elevator for an extreme amount of time. So much to the point that the good people over at the Luxor were like, yikes, here's a free room and also some food vouchers because your son is a savage that just eats too much. So
that is your boy.
It's bad when this kid eats you out of house and home on food vouchers. Take that. But let's put it this way. Have you ever received a comp like that? If so, where and why? I guess I should ask. I'm trying to think of whoever's comped me for stuff. I get random ass things that people like feel bad about that sometimes I've been like, oh, you felt bad about that? I mean, I'll take that free meal. That's no problem. So you can always comp your boy. I don't give a shit. Check that out. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you're watching. Appreciate you guys. Additionally, Grappling Hour on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/grappling hour. Check my interviews out 30 days before everybody else. And for a few extra dollars, see bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies, the Grappling Hour Challenge. We ask a lot of these athletes who their favorite athletes to compete against were and their favorite matches or fights of the year in 2025. And we're actually doing a segment right now with JJ where he is going to do a roast Raph, where he roasts my competition footage. And I did pick a very unfortunate match for him to watch. It's a good story. Not great for me. Not looking forward to it. But you can check it out, Grappling Hour on Patreon. You can also get some Grappling Hour merch, a t-shirt, a hoodie, a tank top. That's at raffasparza.com/merch. And if you want to continue the discussions that we have here on the show, you can head on over to our Discord at Grappling Hour. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here at the show. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. We will see you very soon in a very busy season of the PGF. But for right now, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.
Perfect.